how cool was that finding out that he's back and he can wrestle again?
But on Twitter, though? You're okay with finding out on Twitter? Randomly like that?
Well, Twitter's kind of a source of news now. So, yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, it came up in my little notifications on Twitter in the trending. His name started trending, so I wondered if maybe he'd left the company or something like that. And I checked, and he'd come back. I actually checked the trending on Twitter first when I found out about it. But it was big news, and then every other news news organization picked it up. But besides the Twitter, what do you actually think about him? The fact that he's coming back, how cool is it that he's actually going to be able to wrestle again?
Do you want to start, Ryan, or me?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, yes and no. Here's the thing. Yes part, I love the fact that Daniel Bryan is back. He's going to be competing in the ring, and I can't wait to see him again. Now we get to see some of the matches with some of these new and up-and-coming wrestlers that have been coming from NXT over to SmackDown, or if Daniel Bryan chooses to go to Raw, maybe in the future and compete with some of the guys like Samoa Joe, Orton, all those guys again. Who knows? I like to see that. The no part, the only thing that kind of did make me a little, I don't know, like I wasn't really too thrilled about it was that I got sources from the news in the morning or in the afternoon that he was going to come back. He was cleared. It was a report all over ESPN. It was a report all over Twitter. It was a report all over the place. And I don't know, it kind of lost that magic about the feeling that I kind of wanted him to announce that he would be returning, because that would completely shake up everything. That would completely make everything unexpected. And for me, that would make me as like, whoa, I didn't see this coming. I kind of wanted WWE and Daniel Bryan to keep it to themselves and say it in surprise, because for SmackDown, that would be better off. I think that would help SmackDown a lot. Not only before people tune into SmackDown, but also afterwards, because people want to see, wait, what did Daniel Bryan say? And everybody's going to go back and watch SmackDown, and they're going to be watching what he said when he's going to be cleared to get in the ring. I thought that would make everybody in suspense. That would make everything cool, and I think that would make they wouldn't spoil the surprise, or they wouldn't ruin the magic. So yes, I'm happy that Daniel Bryan is back. Just with today's day and age of news breaking and everything about how Daniel Bryan is back, it kind of ruined the magic for me. But nonetheless, I'm happy for Daniel Bryan.
Hey, man, salute to the WWE for the power play move they just played on Daniel Bryan. That was complete power play, because for these years, the past 3 years, we had Daniel Bryan teasing that he was going to leave, playing the system perfectly, saying his contract was up in September. He was going to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was going to go to the Indies. He was going to do this and that, because he was cleared medically by doctors, and the WWE was not allowing him to go and wrestle and compete in the ring. So now what the WWE decides to do is they say, okay, we're going to let you compete, but you're going to do it under our terms. Number one, you're going to get medical testing after every single match. Why? Because if you get hurt, we want to make sure that we absolutely know, we want the public to know that we did everything we could to make sure that you were okay. Number two, we're going to announce it on Twitter. Why? Because it's one of the 48 laws of power. We're going to operate in our self-interest, meaning we're going to try to promote SmackDown and the road to WrestleMania. And number three, don't you think it's just a little ironic that Shane McMahon is involved in this storyline, and now Daniel Bryan all of a sudden gets cleared to wrestle right around this time? Don't you think it's a little weird? I mean, let's be honest here. I think at the end of the day, this was all a power move by WWE. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited and I'm happy for Daniel Bryan, but let's just be honest. We got a guy over on Raw, okay, who dominates every single storyline that he's in. His name is Roman Reigns. I don't know if you've heard of him, okay? But his name is Roman Reigns, okay? And the guy dominates every single thing that he touches, okay? So I just pray to God that Daniel Bryan has SmackDown, and that is his show, and Roman Reigns has Raw, and that is his show. Okay, and we can get the great dream matches that we want to see, and Daniel Bryan remains a special attraction for big time matches.
You guys both make great points actually about this, and I actually agree with you on many of the points. I do have to say this now. I'm just going to rebuttal both of you on this because I think you guys are, in a way, overreacting to the whole thing. When you're following sports, because I think the closest thing to wrestling is sports, right? There's competition.
Well,
there's
sports entertainment, Nick.
Yeah,
so,
exactly,
I mean,
exactly. So yeah, exactly, it makes sense. But you, Eric, you're not as happy about the whole thing because it happened on Twitter, and you wanted to see it happen on SmackDown, right? Well, the one thing I'd say about that is you said that SmackDown, people would go watch SmackDown. Well, people did watch SmackDown. From what I heard, it was the highest rated SmackDown in months.
Oh, I also got to look at that
Yeah,
point. Maybe
exactly.
like afterwards, I think that would like generate a lot of more viewership, and then next week people would want to see, more SmackDown, and maybe not just rely on Raw just being the dominant show. Now people can see, SmackDown because of Daniel Bryan, because we've been waiting for 3 years since 2015, 2016,
so long,
somewhere in there, that Daniel Bryan hasn't wrestled, and it's great to see Daniel Bryan back. Just I think this also goes for the Hall of Fame when
I was just about to bring that up. That the Hall of Fame gets kind of broken earlier in the day every single time. We don't get to wait till Raw, who usually announces who makes the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It was always like, oh, we never knew who's going to be. Now, if you pay attention to Twitter, you're probably going to know that Goldberg's going into the Hall of Fame before Raw even hits the air, right?
Yeah.
I think we knew about Mark Henry that it was on Sunday, when he went into the Hall of Fame. So I do agree that's just going to happen.
Nobody cares about the Hall of Fame, though. It's
you,
irrelevant.
No, but you do.
To me,
you do
and
care.
most fans.
No, but you do care when you're watching Raw and all of a sudden Mike Cole goes, well, every Friday before the Hall, you go, oh man, they're going to announce the Hall of Fame. Here it is. I think what Eric's talking about is the surprise of the whole thing. I think
give me an actual location for the Hall of Fame, and maybe I'll actually give a crap about it.
Like an actual
location,
site?
like a site. Like the NFL has their Hall of Fame. MLB has their Hall of Fame. NASCAR has their Hall of Fame. Why don't we get an actual area location with like wrestlers, and all that stuff?
I think they are working on it. It's just that they haven't, really set it in stone. It's just that I think it's just going to take a lot more time, maybe a couple more years for that to happen. Because I know they got for WrestleMania Access, they got all the setup and everything. But just for Hall of Fame, I think that's a whole different ball game. We're going to have to wait for that to happen, unfortunately.
No, totally. And I think you saw how long it took him to build a performance center. How long is it going to take?
Yeah, that did take forever.
How long is it going to take him to build a Hall of Fame? So I think Eric's right. I think it's going to take a while for them to do that. But I think with the whole what we're saying though, Ryan, is we're saying that the Twitter is kind of in the whole just 24-hour news cycle is kind of in a way ruining a lot of surprises for WWE. Not necessarily guys returning or stuff like that. We still get the great pops and all that, but I think these little things like Daniel Bryan returning and the Hall of Fame and other little things that are announced, I think things get ruined a little bit. It's not as much of a surprise as, let's say, 15 years ago with a lot of stuff. And I think that is a little bit disappointing, but you just have to, that's how everything. I mean, you find out about trades or you find out about these guys signing in the NFL 2 days before the actual free agency signing is. We used to have to wait till like a certain Thursday, and now we're finding out on Tuesday, Wednesday that guys are going, so I think it's a whole thing where just the 24-hour news cycle is ruining a little bit of that stuff. But I do think they increased SmackDown's ratings, and I think they wanted to advance a storyline as quick as possible.
I gotta look at it that way.
I think by having them attack Daniel Bryan on SmackDown and all that stuff, they needed to announce it before so people watched and said, oh my God, what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan tonight? And then all of a sudden he gets the hell beat out of him on SmackDown, and everyone hates Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah, that actually brought some legit heel heat and feelings from me.
Absolutely,
I was
dude.
pissed off. I was like, you gonna kill this man already? Like, you want to see a killing on live television?
Right, I thought of you because I'm like, I knew you were gonna say something. I'm like, dude, we're gonna see a killing on live TV tonight.
For a moment, I actually got up on top of my chair, and I just when Daniel Bryan started fighting back, I was like, yes, and I just started chanting yes, just like the people.
I was hyped.
I was hyped. I was happy. Just Sami Zayn just had to ruin it, and Kevin, beating them.
Hey, the good heels though.
Yeah, but that's true. It's helping them out. That's true.
I'm glad we're talking about Twitter because what Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have been doing is the way you should use storyline in social media.
Absolutely.
With Kevin Owens actually removing his WWE superstar, calling himself Kevin Steen, El Generico.
I love
he
that.
has
love that.
merchandise. El Generico, if you don't know, Sami Zayn used to be called El Generico on the Indies, and it was a fantastic gimmick that they got rid of, which I don't know why they got rid of. It would have sold a lot of merchandise with the kids. But, I mean, they got rid of that. But anyway, with El Generico, they're selling merchandise with him. And then on top of that, they're quote-unquote sabotaging these WWE live events and hijacking it. It's just fantastic. Now, that is the way you use social media. You use social media to advance storylines in those types of ways. I'm just saying, with the whole Daniel Bryan thing, what we're trying to say, and what I think you were trying to say, Eric, is that what they could have done is they could have teased a huge announcement on social media.
That's a good point.
And then all of a sudden, everybody's got to watch. But you could kind of figure it out. But here's the thing with these dirt sheets now, with Dave Meltzer and all of them, they leak stuff anyway. So they kind of ruin the surprise
exactly,
too.
Exactly. So I think they just forwarded it and said, you know what, people are probably going
It's
to find
confirmed,
out about this.
Yeah.
So let's just announce it.